How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto. We have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of developments happening in the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin currently now clocking in at 7,921. We've seen a pretty interesting spike in the Bitcoin price, but of course the subject of discussion in this video is going to be Cardano. As always, I'd like to begin the video by talking about these comments by Charles Hoskinson. Cardano will replace Bitcoin as number one by end of 2020s. The CEO, Input Output Hong Kong IOHK, the company behind Cardano Charles Hoskinson, has announced in a recent Ask Me Anything on YouTube that Cardano will replace Bitcoin as the number one cryptocurrency by the end of 2020. However, he did not commit himself to a specific metric by which he wants to judge success, market capitalization, yada yada, in order to achieve market leadership. Hoskinson says that the major parties in Cardano ecosystem, Emergo, Cardano Foundation, IOHK, will focus on commercializing the product. As CNF reported, the Cardano Foundation recently announced a collaboration with McCann Dublin together with the advertising agency, which has also worked with Microsoft LinkedIn. Gigantic marketing campaign is planned for 2020, so this will be pretty interesting to watch. Commercialization, so a lot of noise, but still at the same time it is an interesting, bold statement, and it sort of is in alignment with the discussion that we were having in the last video, of course, when we were discussing how the comments made by McAfee, the idea of Bitcoin sort of as when you want to talk about the conversation of the Model T, was the Model T exactly the end all be all of the automobile? He talks about the idea of Bitcoin being what could be referred to as sort of a ancient technology, especially when we want to talk about what the expectations for cryptocurrency have become, taking into consideration smart contracts and the like, of course, wide opening up spaces of a lot of interesting things, and of course it's interesting. So Bitcoin climbs as Tether gets 500 M injection in 5 minutes. This was an interesting article as well, one that we won't necessarily have time to get into, but it is also very interesting to see a lot of these different developments that have been happening. And I think that if we're looking forward to cryptocurrency that has potential to really replace the future paradigm and really be a big actor, something like Cardano is in alignment with, I would say, the expectations overlapping with reality in terms of a lot of these different expectations that we could see. So talking about the recent news with Cardano staking pools, and of course saturation. So a lot of you wanted me to comment on this as well. So of course Cardano's largest pools are currently overstaked, though the exact strategic change over time, the issue has been observed for several weeks. ADApool.org indicates that 18 of Cardano's 249 active staking pools are saturated as of January 4th. Saturation smaller than it seems in this article as well. I think that this is sort of par for the course. I think that it is a solvable problem. I think that it's sort of, we've talked about this before. Many people saw this coming. Changes to staking are clearly needed. Cardano may need to tweak incentives to encourage movement between pools. Pool listing sites may need to sort pools in a way that makes but it is interesting, to see how they're going to be handling this problem. And I think the fact that Cardano is tackling this problem now shows how they're ahead of the game. Most other cryptos in this space really don't even have grasp on these sort of issues, which sort of does go a long way to show us how advanced Cardano is. In that same token, it will be interesting to see. When we want to talk about scientific and academic and overall how Cardano has been able to position themselves with the future in mind rather than working with the past. So of course, while Bitcoin might be the leader right now, I think that it will be interesting to see in a world with a more functioning, crypto. More or less in a less theoretical sense, when people are actually choosing the products that they want to use. I don't believe that Bitcoin will ever completely go the way of the dinosaur. I think that Bitcoin will always have its place because perception, and when you want to talk about the actual value of money and all these other things, I could easily see Bitcoin maintaining a certain degree, a level of predominance, but at the same time, it will be interesting to see. So the market entered, entry 88 USDT. The bulls set signs on recovery as Hoskinson speaks about Cardano. So Cardano's ADA is showing promising signs of a near-term breakout to the upside. As the bulls push for recovery, the price, like much of the market, had fallen victim to some harsh, of course, selling, which had commenced in June. ADA USDT was trading up at highs of 0.1 before entering a stubborn bear market. So promising commentary from Hoskinson, yada yada. So I would say, long term it will be interesting to see. I will still stand by my original prediction that we will see the price fall. I could easily see Bitcoin capitulating. I do still hold true to what my statements were earlier, that the bears have maintained their control over the space and will continue to hold that. Even though but of course you have to understand there has to be money in the space for them to be able to take it off the table. Largely manipulated to a large extent still at this time. We're so early in the game. I think that we're seeing a lot of newbies and so forth getting their emotions played with, but still at the same time, I think that it will be interesting to watch the more promising altcoins, for lack of a better term, in this instance referring to Cardano as an altcoin, but of course Cardano, quote, it's humbling to see the massive amount of participation from our community in the incentivized testnet. Of course, this is a testimony to the loyalty and pride of our supporters. We believe that we can start a revolution with what we have. An enormous amount of growth can happen very quickly with only a small community. And I think that does speak a lot to the potential that we do see, on the horizon with Cardano, and I think it will be very interesting technology to watch as we see a lot of the different developments in real time, really being fleshed out, to the fullest extent. And I think that it will, of course, have to happen side by side with the education of, just as we see more people looking for solutions where there otherwise were not any. It will be interesting to actually watch Cardano coming into its own. But I'm very interested in seeing where we're going to be seeing how the 2020s are going to be interesting for this. Hoskinson, the founder and leading blockchain platform Cardano, is a globally acclaimed technology entrepreneur, mathematician, and blockchain expert. As the world enters a new decade, Charles decided to share all his predictions about the technological advancements which are likely to take place in the Cardano industry in the coming years. He released his first surprise AMA of 2020, and you guys should definitely go and check that out. So it is interesting to see just how we've been watching the 2020s, just even these first 6 days. The new decade certainly will be a very interesting one, and of course just seeing how different technologies in the not only in the blockchain sector, but all these other things as well. But so all that being said, that's going to be it for now. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your dad. I'm not your financial advisor. Of course, this video is just for my opinion. So remember, take that with a grain of salt. But all that being said, good. I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. Make sure that you guys subscribe, put on post notifications, and of course I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.